At Rusty Bethel Drive, I'm Paiswell Forbes. This is ZNS.
It's What's Trending with Jimenita Swain and the Bahama Beauty at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas from Studio A. It all starts right now.
Hello and welcome everyone. It's Wednesday, March 12, and you're tuned in to the ultimate destination for all things lifestyle, entertainment, and everything in between. I'm Jimenita Swain, and you're watching What's Trending, the show where we bring you the latest trends, hottest news, and insider tips on living your best life. Whether you're here for fashion, food, fitness, or the latest buzz from social media, we've got you covered. Let's dive in. If you love flying Southwest, you will now have to adjust to paying for your checked baggage. The company is doing away with its decades-long practice that executive describes as the one element that distinguished the budget airline from its rivals. The company, who has allowed up to 2 checked bags for free, said this week that people who haven't either reached the upper tiers of its Rapid Rewards loyalty program, bought a business class ticket, or hold the airline's credit card will now have to pay for checked bags. Well, we're celebrating Equal Pay Day today, March 12th. The day symbolizes how far into the year women must work to earn what men earned the previous year. It highlights the gender pay gap that still exists in many industries where women on average earn less than men for the same work. On this day, advocates raise awareness through discussions, campaigns, and events that aim to close the wage gap. People celebrate by participating in rallies, sharing social media posts, and calling for policy changes to ensure equal pay for equal work. And Alfred Hitchcock Day is also celebrated on March 12th of every year. The day celebrates the work, times, and life of the exceptional filmmaker Alfred Hitchcock. While nobody knows why this specific date was chosen to commemorate the director, that hasn't stopped its popularity as more and more people continue to mark this day each year. Well, we have a jam-packed show for you today. It's considered the new silent epidemic, kidney disease. We have a specialist joining us today to talk about protecting your kidneys, equity, and women's rights. She's been heralding the charge for many years. Find out why she is so committed to protecting women's rights. This and more after the break. You're watching What's Trending.
Shake up to the rhythms and sounds of the Bahamas at the 19th Annual Bahamian Music and Heritage Festival. This year's festival is set to be an ultimate showcase of Bahamian culture, fit for the entire family.
So the 19th Annual Bahamian Music and Heritage Festival, under the theme Bahamian Rhythms and Flavors, is going to take place this weekend, March 14th and 15th in beautiful Georgetown, Exuma. So we have an amazing entertainment lineup. Friday and Saturday night, the Pond Band is going to back everybody. But get this, Friday we've got Papa Carly, Dimitri, Iron Store, Shine, 242, Mr. Ray Can Scrape himself, Bloody, and of course, you can't have any festival without D-Mac. And then if that was not enough, Saturday we got Basil Smith, Jammin' Ramin, Nishi Ellis, and you know, everybody loves KB. There's going to be some surprises, lots of excitement. And doors, or the gate opens at 12 every day on the 14th and 15th. Come in, check out the culinary delights. Our visitors and locals are going to have an exciting time. They can participate in the fire dancing, you know, the Bahamian games, the kids corner. I know sometimes it's hard to leave the kids at home. There's a fabulous kids corner. They'll have a great time. So admission to get in on both days is $5. You know, that's the steal. Like, you can't beat that. For all of the fun, all of the excitement, I just want to tell everybody, come on down. It's March 14th and 15th in Georgetown, Exuma.
more tourism updates, visit Tourism Today or Bahamas.com. I'm Joshua Robbins, and this is Tourism Today.
Well, March is Kidney Awareness Month, and we're shedding some light on the important functions of the kidneys and why you need to protect them. Did you know the kidneys filter around 180 liters of blood every day? Or that it controls the production of red blood cells and releases hormones to regulate your blood pressure? Well, kidneys produce urine that aids in the removal of waste from your body, but kidney disease is growing and globally impacts about 850 million people in some type of way. And in the Bahamas, kidney disease is being described as the silent epidemic, as it's now affecting hundreds of Bahamians, both young and old. Joining us on What's Trending today is kidney specialist Dr. LeVard Roberts, who is working to not only save kidneys, but educate as many people as possible about protecting them. He serves as the executive director of the Bahamas Kidney Association. And we're chatting with him the day before World Kidney Day, which is actually celebrated on the second Thursday in March. Welcome to What's Trending, Dr. Roberts.
Thank you for having me.
Now, tell us, LeVard, what are some of the early signs of kidney disease and how can we detect them before it becomes serious?
So, unfortunately, like a lot of medical conditions, kidney disease typically is silent, asymptomatic. When we see signs and symptoms of kidney disease, it's usually a bit in the later stages. Some of the symptoms include swelling of the ankles or feet, difficulty breathing, nausea or vomiting, a change in taste of the mouth, typically what we call a metallic taste, and loss of appetite, loss of energy, fatigue, and sleeping all day. These are some symptoms of more extended kidney disease. But, you know, it can be very far in the disease, typically when the kidney is under 20% that these symptoms present.
So that's 20% of its working capacity?
Correct, correct.
Wow. Wow. So what are some of the lifestyle changes then that people need to make or employ to improve their kidney function?
So I think prevention is key. You know, even if you have no medical conditions, you should be screened appropriately. Any person over the age of 18 should be having their annual done once a year. And part of that annual examination is kidney screening, which would include a blood and a urine test. In the blood test, we check for something called creatinine. So the creatinine, it actually allows us to estimate our kidney function, and with the estimation, that typically says what stage or what predisposing factors you have for kidney disease. In the urine, we would see protein or blood, which is a sign of microscopic damage. If any of these signs or symptoms are present, then you should be able to meet with your physician or kidney specialist to find out how do we delay the progression. For those who don't have any medical conditions and those who have specific medical conditions, you should know the lifestyle changes that prevent or delay kidney progression. For example, diet is a key thing here in our Bahamas. Staying away from salt, you know, a diet with low salt is key. You know, anytime we eat out, that's something that's high in salt, high in sodium. So we should learn how to season our food without salt. You know, the fresh herbs, garlic, lemon, those kind of things would allow us to give some taste to the food. At the same time, we want to be very active. So we talk about exercising about approximately 30 minutes a day, at least 5 days out of the week. That's the bare minimum. That allows us to delay or decrease the chances of diabetes, hypertension, which are two leading causes of kidney disease.
And that's two areas that we are very well known for here in the country.
Correct, correct. And diabetes is on the rise.
We know that too. And so does dehydration affect kidney function, and how much water should people be actually drinking daily? Because, you know, there's the discussion that some people will say, well, you're drinking too much water, so it's your kidneys are waterlogged. And then some people are saying, well, you're not drinking enough. How much should we actually be drinking? And also, should we be drinking more fruit or juiced type waters? You know, people into the whole health bit of juicing more of their fruits and vegetables. Is that something we need to do too, or just focus on just drinking more water?
So you actually hit the nail on the head, because it should be individualized.
Okay.
So what one person may need to drink is different from what another person may need to drink. The difference also determines what time of year it is. You know, are you working out the sun, working more, then you require more water intake. Water is truly the best liquid for us to drink, okay? Those fruit juices and drinks are high in sugar, so that actually increases our risk of diabetes and high sugar content. And definitely want to stay away from the sodas. But the more water we drink, the better. You want the idea to drink to taste. So if you're thirsty or you're doing exercise or working in your yard, you want to increase that water intake. But you don't want to do so much, I have to drink 10 liters a day, because correct, the body does become waterlogged and it becomes difficult, especially if you don't have a balanced diet.
So water and the diet must be balanced together.
Correct.
For it to make sense.
Correct,
All right,
correct.
some good information so far. So how important is the kidney function to our overall health, and what should one do if they have a history of history with their families focused on kidney disease and things of that nature?
Yes, so, you know, when we think about kidneys, we just think about producing urine. You know, the kidneys have about 10 different jobs, okay? One of it is to filter the blood, to remove the waste, the toxins that we ingest on a daily basis, and to eliminate fluid in excess and to conserve when we need to conserve. But also the kidney helps to promote and stabilize our blood counts, our acid levels, our bone health. It helps to maintain our blood pressure as well as our blood sugar. So the kidneys are well versed in assisting the other organs and helping them do their job. Now, for those who are at high risk, particularly if you're diagnosed with diabetes, hypertension, or if you have a family history of polycystic kidney disease, these persons should be screened regularly. For example, a diabetic at minimum should have a urine checked at least 3 to 4 times a year to make sure no protein is in the urine or it's not getting worse. For those who have a first-degree relative with polycystic kidney disease, they should get an ultrasound where we look to make sure that they themselves do not have polycystic kidney disease, whereas a genetic component to your kidney disease, no matter how great a lifestyle you may live.
Wow. So also, I know persons talk about over-the-counter medications. Can they also impact kidney health? And what should we be cautious of?
Yes, yes. So the first thing I want to say, everything should be done in moderation, whatever you do. All of the over-the-counter medications we have have risk to it, and if you have kidney disease, your risk is even higher. The ones I want to particularly highlight is your NSAIDs, what we'd call them. That's your ibuprofen, your Aleve, Motrin, Goody powder. All of those medications we typically use to treat headache, they increase the risk of kidney disease, especially when taken at high doses and for prolonged periods of time. Other medications like your antacids, like your Nexium and your proton pump inhibitors that we use, they can actually also affect the kidneys. And at the same time, if we go to our untraditional counter, our bush medications, you know, unregulated medications, they also can affect the kidneys in certain ways. For example, licorice root, you know, that can affect the kidneys directly, you know, and, you know, vitamin C in excess can actually cause kidney stones. So you have to find out what is your risk factors, and it has to be individualized, because what works for your neighbor may not necessarily be safe or work for you.
Well, Lavad, that's definitely some great information there. And I want to tell people, make sure to wear green, because green is the color for Kidney Awareness Month. And again, thank you for joining us, and continue to spread the good work to save our kidneys.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Pleasure.
So on the next side of the break, we will be discussing issues that plague women in this country. Stay with us.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community, also help with the education of our kids in this community, and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Stripe and the Bahamian Company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
diet-friendly special.
As the fight for women's rights continue to gain momentum in the Bahamas, a leading advocate for gender equality speaks out on the pressing issues facing women in our country. From combating gender-based violence to addressing disparities in employment, Marian Bethel sheds light on the ongoing struggles and critical work needed to ensure equality for women in the Bahamas. Today, she will reflect on the progress made and the long road ahead for securing women's rights in a society rooted in patriarchy and change. Welcome to the show, Mrs. Bethel.
Thank you so much, Ms. Swain. I'm so glad to be here, and thank you for having me.
Awesome. So can you tell us about your journey and what inspired you to become an advocate for women's rights in the Bahamas?
Right. Well, I think it really began for me in the 1980s when I uncovered and discovered that there was a women's suffrage movement in the Bahamas. I hadn't known about this. I had read about the American suffrage movement, the British suffrage movement, and other European suffrage movements, and I didn't know that we had our own homegrown suffrage movement here. So when I read an article by Ruth Bo Darville and Kim Outen Stubbs that laid this out, it just changed the landscape for me completely. So I did work on that, and then I realized that these women were actually fighting for women's human rights, not just the right to vote. And it just caught my deepest, most passionate interest, and I've moved on since then.
Awesome. So that brings us into my next question. You describe some of the key projects or campaigns that you've been involved in support of women in the Bahamas.
Well, I think the most memorable one, and the one that I think everybody knows about, is the campaign for the constitutional amendments and the two referenda that we've had. So those would have been the two major national actions that I would have been involved in.
This debate about decriminalizing or criminalizing marital rape, why is it so important? What is it that people need to understand why this issue is coming up and why it needs to be addressed? Is it that we're seeing more spouses being victims of rape? Explain it for persons who are questioning, well, why are we still talking about this?
Right, I know, it's quite a very emotional topic. It's important because in our Sexual Offences Act, we have what's called marital immunity. In other words, spouses within a marriage cannot be charged with rape within marriage. And rape is defined as having intercourse without consent. So there's a gap. There's a whole space within our Sexual Offences Act and in our lives where sexual violence can take place legitimately and legally. Surely that has to be unjust at any level, whether it's a moral injustice, whether it's a legal injustice, a human rights violation. That space where sexual violence can take place without legal sanction, we're trying to have that changed to that. So what I think people are in part fearing is that there may be a stand-alone offense called rape, marital rape. No, it wouldn't be a standalone offense. It would be part of the Sexual Offences Act amended, where we take out the words "who is not his spouse" from that Section 3, and at that point, once you eliminate those 5 words, then rape applies to everybody in that situation. So it won't be an offense that says marital rape offense.
It's not like most people may feel. It's not a new offense that you're adding. It's just an amended to the law.
Exactly.
All right, that's understandable.
Does that? Yes.
So speak to some of the strides of women in the country, how far we've come, and what more do we need to do?
Right. So I think we've come a long way. There's no question about that. I mean, if I take it from the time of the women's suffrage movement, where the women were fighting for the right to vote, fighting for the right to stand in election, we have those rights, and they were the ones who struggled for that. But what I think I'd like to make very clear is that in fighting for those rights, these women saw they had a much larger vision. They were fighting for freedom, they were fighting for human rights, they were fighting for democracy, a more democratic governance. And so when we talk about women's rights, I think we have to see it in the context of national development that I think are very important.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for all of the work that you do for furthering the fight for equality for women in the country, and these great discussions that people are able to learn a little bit more from and be better people overall.
Better community, yes.
Thank you again so much. On the next side of the break, here from a Mr. UB contestant. You're watching What's Trending. Stay with us.
For more than 30 years, thousands have attended the annual Bahamas Bridal Show to enjoy a spectacular fashion show, fun and games, food and champagne, and $30,000 in prizes, including honeymoons. On Sunday, March 23rd at Grand Hyatt Baha Mar, come see the reason the Bahamas Bridal Show is the ultimate experience for weddings and special events. Show tickets, $75. Call 421-9783 or visit bahamasevents.net.
For over half a century, we've been more than just an airline. We've been a bridge, connecting families, dreams, and memories across the islands and beyond. Behind every seat sold and every journey planned, there's a dedicated team committed to making air travel affordable and accessible to everyone. At Bahamas Air, we're not just building connections, we're building a safe and dependable airline where quality service is paramount and an excellent travel experience is our priority. Wherever you're going, we're here to take you there with care, with heart, and with the promise of unforgettable journeys. We are family, and just like family, we're committed to taking care of our own. Your Bahamas Air is our Bahamas Air, because here at Bahamas Air, we don't just fly here, we live here.
We're just a day away from the Miss and Mr. University of the Bahamas pageant finale, and we have one of the contestants joining us today whose platform is focused on conflict resolution and combating violence. A contestant in the Miss and Mr. UB pageant is determined to inspire positive changes both on and off the campus through promoting dialogue and understanding. Danako Parker aims to foster a more peaceful, supportive environment for students, addressing one of society's most pressing issues. Welcome to What's Trending, Danako.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me here. My name is Danako Parker. I'm 18 years old. My major is electrical engineering and technology. My platform is conflict resolution and combating violence.
So you jumped way ahead of all of my questions. Oh, way ahead. But that's good. You gave us an idea of who you are and what you're all about. So talk to us about what inspired you to run for Mr. UB.
I wanted to run for Mr. University of the Bahamas to get my platform out there. I want to be a positive impact on the university and the community.
And why was it so important, that particular platform in terms of conflict resolution and violence?
Because as we know, going on in the Bahamas today, we have a lot of violence and crimes happening. So I feel like the people of the Bahamas should know more about conflict and resolution skills, helping to promote easier ways to resolve problems.
Sounds good. So how has your experience at the University of the Bahamas shaped you into the person you are today? You said this is your first year in UB.
Yes, I feel like my experience at the University of the Bahamas has shaped me to be a better young man, the way I am today, to be more of a gentleman, to be more confident and productive on campus.
Now that sounds good. So what is something about you that most people do not know?
Something about me that most people don't know is that I hate public attention in bad ways. Like, there's something about it.
Yet you joined a pageant.
But it's like a good way. But like in bad ways, I'd immediately walk away. Okay. Don't want to be seen there.
All right, that's understandable. So what does it mean for you to represent UB and your peers?
For me, it means that I can be a motivational person for other people, to inspire people to be better, to want to actually do things on campus to be more comfortable and stepping out of their comfort zones more often.
All right, that sounds good. So a big part of being Mr. UB involves community outreach. What causes or community projects are you passionate about, and how do you plan to use your platform to make a difference in the future?
I am passionate about peace and understanding, so I'll be helping basically using the entities of the university like student government and the counseling department, helping with them to continue to aid in the students to be more comfortable on campus where there can be more involvement.
Okay. And if given the opportunity, what changes or initiatives would you like to see at UB during your time as Mr. UB?
Like I said before in the other question, I would like to partner up with SGA and the counseling department to help with more seminars and stuff to help the younger people today learn more on conflict resolution skills.
And you think that would definitely empower them as well as students?
Yeah, helping to empower the youth.
Awesome. So how do you hope to be remembered at the University of the Bahamas after your reign is over, should you be successful?
I hope to be remembered as a very positive impact on the campus and the community, to be remembered as a person who always tried his best to get things done, to help promote my platform even more with conflict resolution, help people understand there's always a way around certain things.
And we know that the finale is tomorrow, but how has your experience been so far on the journey to tomorrow night?
To be honest with you, my experience has been very stressful, but it's been very good, helping me to grow more as a person, to make new friends and family, to just build better relationships. Although it felt like a lot, I feel like the closer we get, I'm more excited to see where the journey leads me.
Awesome. And let our viewers know how they can continue to support you on your journey to becoming Mr. UB.
To continue to support me on my journey to be Mr. University of the Bahamas, all you have to do is go on Instagram or Facebook and like my picture, comment, and share. And that would help. Even if coming to the show and being support, it would be greatly appreciated.
And they will be looking forward to Danako Parker.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us on What's Trending, Danako, and all the best in the Mr. UB pageant on Thursday.
It's been a pleasure being here also.
All right. Well, there's so much more after this break. You're watching What's Trending.
Diet-friendly special.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, but we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
Here at Immigration Care Service, you can trust us, especially if you have experienced issues or problems with the U.S. immigration at the borders. We'll do our best to provide options and solutions to immigration roadblocks, so travelers can continue visiting the U.S. and residents can continue living their lives in the U.S. without worries. The best part? Our services are affordable and accessible. Take the mystery, confusion, and fear out of your immigration concerns. Contact Immigration Care Service today.
On Thursday's show, they're back. Our friends from Commonwealth Brewery to show us unconventional ways you can use Guinness. Well, that's all the time we have for today. A huge thank you to our incredible guests for sharing their insights and stories with us. As always, we will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. with more exciting guests, thought-provoking conversations, and a lot of laughs only on the ZNS Network. See you later.
At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition.